A parka, selling in a Toronto boutique right now for $895 with a Made in Canada label sewn proudly inside the collar. The brutal reality? The Competition Bureau of Canada filed a federal application proving the jacket was actually mostly manufactured in Vietnam, with only the trim, zippers, and snaps attached on Canadian soil. The company settled for $750,000 in donations to charity. That same brand is still on the market today, still charging a Canadian premium, and most buyers still have no idea. Welcome to the multi-million-dollar deception built into Canadian men's fashion. Here's the financial reality the industry does not want you to know. The gap between a brand spending $20 to make a sweater in Vietnam and a brand spending $80 to make one in Winnipeg is the difference between a garment that pills at the seams in 6 months and one that gets handed down to your son. The Maple Leaf logo is doing more work than the stitching, and a lot of these brands are counting on you not asking the next question. By the end of this investigation, you will know exactly where these brands actually manufacture, what their factory cost looks like compared to the price tag, and which 5 are robbing you blind to fund their marketing budgets, and which 5 are worth every cent. But first, you need the framework. 3 numbers tell you everything about a Canadian fashion brand. 1. Where is it actually sewn? 2. What is the fabric composition on the label? 3. What is the gross margin? If the brand will not disclose the first 2 and the third sits above 60%, you are not buying clothing. You are buying a logo. With that in hand, the 5 brands robbing you blind. Number 1. Roots, the heritage hijack. No Canadian brand trades harder on national identity than Roots. The beaver logo, the cottage country imagery, the founding story out of Toronto in 1973. The leather bags are still substantially built. The clothing is a completely different conversation. Most Roots apparel today is manufactured in China, with smaller portions in Mexico, India, Ukraine, Peru, and yes, a small slice still in Canada. A Roots cotton hoodie retailing at $98 to $128 carries a landed factory cost between $14 and $19. That is a 600% markup on a garment whose only Canadian content is the embroidered beaver on the chest. Customers in Toronto stores have been complaining for over a decade that the brand claiming to be authentically Canadian charges premium prices for clothing made in China. The fabric is fine. The price is not. You are paying a heritage tax for a label that has quietly moved its sewing operations overseas while keeping the same flag-waving advertising. Number 2. Frank and Oak, sustainable fast fashion in disguise. Founded in Montreal in 2012 by 2 former Deloitte consultants, Frank and Oak positioned itself as a millennial-focused alternative to fast fashion, leaning hard on words like sustainable and responsible. The reality was bankruptcy twice in 5 years, including a $71 million debt, filing in late 2024 that ended with the brand being sold off and all 14 stores closed by May 2025. The production was overwhelmingly offshore, the fabric mostly mid-grade cotton blends, and the price point set at $60 to $120 for items with factory costs of $9 to $14. The sustainability messaging was a marketing layer. The actual product was indistinguishable from any other mid-market mall brand in build quality. When the brand collapsed twice in 5 years, that is the market telling you the value proposition never existed. Number 3. Moose Knuckles, the Made in Canada fraud. In April 2016, Canada's Competition Bureau filed a formal application against Moose Knuckles, accusing the company of deceptive marketing for labeling jackets, retailing between $595 and over $1,000 as made in Canada. The Bureau's investigation found the parkas were mostly manufactured in Vietnam, with only finishing touches like trim, zippers, and snaps attached domestically. Under Canadian guidelines, at least 51% of direct production costs must be incurred in Canada to qualify for the label. Moose Knuckles did not clear that bar. The case settled in December 2016, with the company agreeing to donate $750,000 to Canadian charities over 5 years. The price tags have not come down. The marketing has been quietly softened. The fundamental problem, that you are paying a 700% markup on a Vietnamese parka with a Canadian zipper, remains intact. Number 4. Indochino, the algorithm in a suit. Founded in Vancouver in 2007, Indochino markets itself as accessible made-to-measure tailoring. The reality is every single suit is manufactured at scale in China and Indonesia, then shipped to the customer with the personalization data run through a computer pattern engine. Suits retail between $400 and $700. The factory cost runs $60 to $90 per unit. The construction is universally fused, meaning the jacket's inner lining is glued to the shell fabric with thermoplastic adhesive rather than stitched. Fused construction bubbles, curls, and delaminates after enough dry cleaning cycles, and the failure is irreversible. Indochino is not a tailor. It is a logistics company that uses your measurements to spec out a Chinese factory order. The made-to-measure framing is doing enormous psychological work on a product that, at its core, is a mass-produced fused suit with a custom waist measurement. Number 5. Tristan, the Quebec Mall illusion. Founded in Montreal in 1972, Tristan positions itself as a Canadian fashion house with European sensibility. The marketing language is heavy on local production and ethical sourcing. The reality on the rack is a mix. A small portion of the line is genuinely produced in Quebec at honest prices. The vast majority is manufactured offshore, from $12 to $20 per unit, then priced from $90 to $160 in store. The fabric blends are largely polyester and viscose, with mid-grade cotton in the basics. The construction uses single needle stitching at the minimum stitch density factories will allow, which produces a garment that holds together until roughly the second wash cycle. At that point, seams start to twist, and the cuffs lose their shape. You are paying for the shopping experience and the Quebec address on the label, not the garment. Before we move on to the brands actually worth your money, and there are genuine ones still standing in this country, hit subscribe. We dismantle the economics of menswear every week. Fabric, factory, markup, no marketing fluff. Now, the 5 Canadian brands worth every penny. Number 1. Canada Goose, the vertical manufacturing gold standard. Yes, the parkas are expensive. Yes, the brand has cultural baggage. Set that aside and look at the manufacturing reality. According to Canada Goose's own SEC filings, in fiscal year 2025, over 90% of the company's down-filled outerwear is produced in their owned and operated facilities across Canada, primarily in Toronto and Winnipeg. They are one of the only major Canadian apparel companies that has actively expanded domestic manufacturing capacity rather than offshoring it. Every jacket passes through 13 production stages, and just as many sets of hands. The down is sourced to specific fill power standards. The shells are tested for cold weather performance, and the construction includes reinforced stress points designed for genuinely brutal winters. At $895 to $1,795, the markup is significant, but the supply chain claim is verifiable. This is what made in Canada is supposed to mean. Number 2. Reigning champ and Wings Plus Horns, the Vancouver Fleece Masters. Both brands operate under CYC Design Corporation in Vancouver, founded by Craig Atkinson after 7 years sourcing premium fabrics in Japan. Both lines are designed, knit, cut, and sewn in their own Vancouver factory. Reigning Champ's heavyweight terry fleece hoodies retail between $130 and $180. The fabric is dense. The stitch density on the side seams visibly exceeds mass market standards, and the garments hold their shape and color through years of regular washing. Reigning Champ was acquired by Aritzia in 2021, but production has stayed domestic. For premium athletic and casual essentials, built in Canada with no offshore shortcut? This is the answer. Number 3. Jack Victor, the Montreal Tailoring Institution. Founded in 1913, Jack Victor manufactures every suit and sport coat in their own factory in Montreal. 3 generations of the Victor family have run the business. The fabrics are sourced from Italian mills, including Loro Piana. The cuts are engineered for working professionals, and the prices sit between $700 and $1,200 for a full suit. The construction is a half canvas, with a machine-sewn canvas chest piece, not full hand padding, but a measurable upgrade over the fully fused suits that dominate the $400 to $800 mall market. For the man who needs a suit that holds its shape through years of regular wear, made by people who have been doing this for over a century. In the same building, Jack Victor is the honest middle ground between fast fashion tailoring and four-figure Italian houses. Number 4. Stanfields, the 169-year-old Basics King. Founded in Truro, Nova Scotia in 1856, Stanfields is one of the longest-running clothing manufacturers in Canada. The brand still manufactures its core underwear, t-shirts, and thermal lines in Truro. Their heavyweight cotton t-shirts retail for between $20 and $35, and consistently outlast premium basics costing 3 times more. The fabric is a denser, heavier knit than the lightweight cotton most mid-market brands use, and the seams are reinforced at the shoulders and underarms. Stanfields does not run influencer campaigns. The brand is conspicuously absent from menswear blogs. That is precisely why the value is intact. The research and development budget goes into the cotton, not the marketing. Number 5. Samuel Son is the apex of Canadian tailoring. Founded in Montreal in 1923, Samuel Son is widely considered the highest quality suit manufacturer Canada has ever produced. Every garment is built in their Montreal factory. The flagship custom line uses full canvas construction with hand-padded lapels and chest pieces, hand-finished buttonholes, and individually sewn linings. The wool is sourced from top European mills. A bespoke or made-to-measure Samuelson suit runs $2,000 to $4,500. The build will outlast cheaper suits by a factor of 3 to 5, and the construction means a tailor can recut and reshape the jacket years later without it falling apart. This is genuine domestic craft built on a century of accumulated knowledge. You are paying for actual labor, not marketing. Across these 10 brands, the pattern is undeniable. Canadian heritage names are routinely used as a smokescreen to hide offshore production, fused construction, and corrected fabric shortcuts, allowing executives to pocket 500 to 800% markups while you are left with a garment that belongs in the donation bin within 2 seasons. It is dangerously easy in this country to mistake a maple leaf logo for actual domestic craftsmanship. But labels do not lie when you read them carefully. Look at where the garment is sewn. Look at the fabric composition. Ask the brand directly. The ones worth your money will tell you in detail, with pride. The ones robbing you blind will hide behind cottage imagery and aspirational marketing while their sewing machines hum away in Vietnam. Stop funding the illusion of heritage. Demand transparent sourcing. Choose your clothes based on the reality of the factory, not the lighting of the boutique. And your wardrobe will outlast every trend cycle the industry tries to sell you.